Hi there, my name's Laurie Hooper and I'm seeking re-election for the constituency of Ramsey. It's been a privilege to be one of Ramsey's MHKs over the last 5 years, and it's great that I've been able to deliver so much from my 2016 manifesto. This video is in response to the Isle of Man Chamber for Commerce, who have asked that candidates respond to 8 questions by preparing a short video. So here goes. Question 1. Question 1 talks about recruitment challenges on the island. So ensuring the island has a pool of talent to recruit from is absolutely vital, and I think achieving this involves a few very equally important pieces of the puzzle. Now firstly, we need to ensure that support for on-island training meets the needs of business. This means ensuring government support schemes line up with the needs of industry and that people of all ages and from all backgrounds can access the training they want and need. Secondly, we need to ensure that businesses take on these trainees and apprentices, investing time and energy in supporting their development and creating a valued and skilled workforce. Thirdly, where we can't train our own, or where we can't train enough of our own, government needs to support businesses in their off-island recruitment. In the last few years, the Department for Enterprise has launched the online talent portal. This is a way of enabling people around the world to sign up and show interest in jobs on the Isle of Man, matching their skills to jobs available. Now the next step is to go out with industry to places around the world and market the island as a great place to live and work, to get people to sign up. The 2 recruitment campaigns that have already been run have produced remarkable successes, so we know that this works. This will help create a digital talent pool for employers on the Isle of Man to recruit from, giving even the smallest Manx employer a global reach. The second question asks how we will support businesses that face a regulatory burden, noting that not all businesses do. So this question itself is pretty broad. I'm a firm believer in fair, light touch regulation where that's possible, but regulation nonetheless. Now, without industry-specific examples of where Chamber feels regulation is disproportionate, it's quite difficult to comment, as interventions and changes will obviously be different for different industries. Some might need more support, some might need regulations paring back. Regulation, though, can be an advantage. As a political member for the Isle of Man Business Agency inside the Department for Enterprise, I've supported and helped the development and implementation of the new regulations to enable the export of medicinal cannabis from the Isle of Man. Now this could create hundreds of jobs, a lot of which could end up being in the north of the island, and this could be worth millions to the Manx economy. So regulation must always be proportionate, but a lot of what we face on the island is down to international standards, and as a respected and outward-facing jurisdiction, we have to ensure that we always meet our international obligations. Question 3 talks about the 3 top considerations that are most important to businesses. So my job as an elected representative will be to represent the views of all of my constituents and not give priority or preferential treatment to any particular group or sector, and that's exactly what I've tried to do over the last 5 years. Now, where businesses have concerns, I've listened and done what I can to assist, but ultimately I work for all of my constituents, and what I have to do must be in their best interests, so everything that I do is seen through that lens. Long-term solutions and strategies are absolutely essential to make sure government isn't just lurching from one crisis to another, but with a 5-year political cycle full of independent politicians and a lack of party politics on the Isle of Man, there is a natural limit to the length of any particular political policy or strategy. As to supporting innovation, well, I've demonstrated that in my first term, not only with medicinal cannabis, as already mentioned, but also in my oversight of the Department for Enterprise financial assistance schemes, which have been continuously reviewed and evolved and updated to reflect the ever-changing needs of the Manx economy. Question 4 talks about supporting businesses through economic challenges and balancing that with the needs of businesses who don't need financial support. I'm a firm believer that the core reason behind almost a decade of wage stagnation on the island after the last financial crash was due to governments underinvesting in their people and underinvesting in their economies. So I am quite firmly of the belief that we must continue to invest and support private sector investment when it's in the best interests of the island. Government should make support available to everybody on a fair and equitable basis, and for those businesses that don't feel financial support is needed for them, quite simply, don't claim it. Question 5 talks about Brexit. Now, the question describes Brexit as an economic opportunity, but I don't really acknowledge that concept at the moment. The majority of the businesses responding to the Chamber survey have said they've been negatively affected by Brexit, and Brexit so far seems to have delivered quite a lot of problems that we're facing at the moment: immigration, staff shortages, trade barriers, and an increased regulatory burden. Brexit, though, has shown that there are some potential opportunities, but these do appear at the moment to be somewhat limited. The Finance Agency inside Department for Enterprise is exploring potential options in respect of insurance on the Isle of Man, but I'm not aware that Brexit has yet produced any of the promised benefits, and it may be a very long time before we see much positive come our way. Now, mostly I see the role of government at the moment as protecting against the downsides of Brexit by ensuring we have an efficient and effective immigration system, policies to help train and recruit staff, and support for importing and exporting businesses. Ultimately, though, we are bound by the UK's decision on this, and the right thing for the island is to ensure we remain heavily involved in any trade talks the UK is having, and to ensure the Isle of Man is included in those where it would be beneficial to us. I am hopeful, though, that more opportunities will present themselves, and we need to be fast and flexible enough to seize them when they do. Question 6 talks about the clear desire from the business sector to engage in energy efficient practices. As well as the standard financial assistance schemes that can be used to support any energy efficiency improvements that create jobs, and the recently launched Business Improvement Scheme, the Department of Enterprise has a green loan scheme in place that provides unsecured interest-free loans of up to £20,000 to businesses for energy efficiency improvements. Now, this scheme's been open for a number of years, and to my knowledge it's only had around about 27 or 28 applications, so I'm not really seeing the clear desire here the Chamber seems to think exists. Now, it may be that this scheme isn't particularly attractive to business, and in that case, really it needs to be reviewed, because if we want these schemes to be used, if we want to support businesses investing in energy efficiency, we need to make sure the government support schemes are attractive enough to encourage that investment. Question 7 talks again about businesses being involved in sustainability and climate change related action. Now, this is slightly different to the previous question. The previous question implied there was a clear desire from businesses to undertake climate change and sustainability related action, but this question talks about businesses only doing this where it is best practice or where it's required by regulations, and those two statements seem to be a little bit at odds with each other. But I think if businesses are committed to the Biosphere Pledge, which a lot of businesses on the Isle of Man have already signed, they probably don't need much more in the way of support or encouragement. For those that haven't, I think, like I said earlier, there are a range of financial incentives available which I would encourage them to investigate. Liberal Vannin as a political party have signed the Biosphere Pledge ourselves, and at the date of this recording we are the only political party and so the only candidates in this election to have done so. This means Liberal Vannin MHKs will be very keen to ensure that our economy develops into a sustainable one, and as quoted by the Chamber, if businesses need support or if they need regulation to make this happen, then that's the route we'll probably have to take. Question 8 talks about how diversifying the economy is considered very important to business. It's ranked 4th most important area. The Isle of Man actually, I think, already has a pretty diverse economy, and I'm regularly surprised by what's actually out there. If you look at some of the breakdowns of the Isle of Man economy, we aren't suffering from financial sector capture as other small jurisdictions are. Now, aside from helping to get the medicinal cannabis sector off the ground, I've also supported a number of DFE or agency initiatives around digital innovation and skills training, as well as pushing the Department for Education to review all the training and skills support that exists. I've also helped revise and update the financial assistance schemes to ensure that support for businesses is being delivered on an island-wide basis and not just concentrating new business in Douglas. I believe the best way the island can ensure it retains a diverse skill set and is attractive to returning graduates is for businesses to offer more training and more apprenticeship opportunities. Now, I trained as a chartered accountant whilst working, and to me that is a truly sustainable method of ensuring staff have the right skills. Always be bringing through new trainees, always be training, always be teaching staff. And government support in this will be absolutely critical, as I appreciate not all businesses can afford to take the necessary time to invest in trainees, but I firmly believe it is achievable. Well, that's me. Thank you very much for listening. I've been Laurie Hooper, Liberal Vannin candidate for the House of Keys from my hometown of Ramsey. If anyone has any questions or queries after this video, please get in touch. My contact details are coming up, or you can follow me on Facebook or on Twitter, or check out my website, www.lhooperiom.com. You can email me at laurie@lhooperiom.com. You can find me on Facebook at HooperL or on Twitter at Laurie Hooper. All my information is on my website at www.lhooperiom.com.